The town of Buzi lies at the mouth of the Pungwe River. When Cyclone Idai tore through here in March, floodwaters from the entire region flowed into the river. The Pungwe burst its banks, flooding the surrounding countryside. Houses were washed away, including that of farmer Abral Felipe. His entire harvest was wiped out too.
Before the cyclone came, I'd been making good progress. But when it hit, it literally threw me back to square one. I'm now starting from the bottom again, point zero.
Things would have been even worse if it weren't for the Gorongosa National Park. This unique wetland landscape lies 140 kilometres upriver. Like a sponge, the vegetation and the network of streams and rivers there absorbed huge amounts of water dumped by the cyclone. Mark Stalmans, the chief ecologist at the park, checks the water levels regularly. He says even today, 5 months after the cyclone, the floodwaters are still draining out of the landscape and into the Pungwe River.
Intact landscapes can play a tremendously positive buffering effect. They generally kind of attenuate the extremes of weather, the extremes of wind, the extremes of water. And that's why we need those big landscapes. They also serve as a reservoir. They are hosting biodiversity, they are hosting systems that are effective, that are functioning.
But this natural paradise is under threat. On nearby Mount Gorongosa, residents have cleared huge swathes of forest for farmland. Forests have a key regulatory function, absorbing and releasing water. It was clear that if the deforestation continued, many of the springs that sustain the wetlands would disappear. So, 6 years ago, the park administration came up with an idea. Instead of subsistence farming, residents could help restore the forest by planting coffee, along with hardwood trees, to provide shade for the crops to thrive. Project manager Siana Moane shows us a plantation with 250,000 young coffee plants and hardwood saplings.
Before, there were almost no trees left here at all. The whole place was totally exposed to the sun. Now, with the coffee and the trees, we have 2 layers of shade.
Gorongosa coffee is already a success story. More than 400 farmers are now growing the new crop. That's nearly half the families in the region. The park administration buys up the harvest at a guaranteed price. Those who are looking for an additional income can help with the processing of the beans. The project is succeeding despite difficult conditions. Mozambique's civil war officially ended in 1992, but there have been flare-ups at times between government troops and rebel forces.
We had some problems in 2015 and had to stop work because of the conflict. But now everything's quiet and we can get on with our work. We're seeing that it is possible to produce coffee on Mount Gorongosa. The community has embraced the idea. They're producing coffee, replanting trees, taking care of the forest and helping the environment.
The coffee beans are taken to the town of Gorongosa for roasting and packing. While we're there, the local mayor drops in to visit the centre. He's hopeful that the coffee will not only protect the environment, but also help to promote reconciliation. Fighters loyal to the rebel group Renamo were long holed up in the hills and forced some farmers to join their ranks. As a result, there are townspeople who are wary of the farmers.
This project is a good thing. It creates ties between the coffee growers on the mountain and the processing plant here in town. We're not affected by any conflict because the coffee farmers haven't been involved in the fighting. This project improves relations between people in town and people up in the hills.
Since the start of the project, farmers have planted more than 140 hectares of coffee and 50,000 hardwood trees. All the trees are native to Mozambique. The plan is to add another 150 hectares next year. If deforestation can be halted or reversed, the wetlands of Gorongosa National Park will be preserved. Forests protect the park, which in turn helps to protect people living in coastal areas. As climate change continues, well-functioning ecosystems will become more important than ever. Abral Felipe has experienced many cyclones before, but he's noticed a change in recent years.
It seems to be getting worse year by year. The cyclone and floods we had last year reached the porch of my house. The cyclone this year reached my windows. Things are getting worse.
But Abral Felipe has no plans to give up. He's building a new house where his old one once stood. He'll replace the mud walls with stones once he has the money. Maybe nature will spare him next time. If not, he's hoping the national park will protect him from the worst.